recording now.
All right. Okay, so let me get my screen up here. All right, can everybody see it? Just give me a nod on your head if you can. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay, my name's Elena Stifler, and I am a Ruby distributor, Ruby director with Mia Bella, and I love training on LinkedIn. And I know so many of you had mentioned it on the Bella Builders Facebook page that you were interested in learning about it. And I actually teach LinkedIn, and I've been teaching it for quite a few years. So it changes quite a bit. I will tell you that it's not a one size fits all for everyone. There are a lot of different things with it. And so just follow along. You do not have to take notes because I am going to be sending off to Kim all of my notes on it, my training on it. So you're going to get it firsthand. So I try to make it really easy. But if you do have questions, please, please, please feel free to ask me questions. I want to answer your questions and be able to give to you the best that I can give. There's always a lot of information on LinkedIn. So we'll get started with LinkedIn cannot be compared to any other platform on social media. It is its own animal. It is a dinosaur. It stays up to date, but it's one of the biggest for your professional audience. It's focused on business relationships. It's been around longer than Facebook or Twitter, and it's where professional businesses are connecting. Facebook are your personal connections. It's more your family and friends, high school people that you went to school with. It's connecting with them. It's gathering with them. It's sharing your everyday. It's your picture taking. It's all about being friends. That's what Facebook is all about. That's your personal connection, whereas LinkedIn is focusing on that business. Twitter is primarily a news source, and it's a microblogging. It's a great place to find out about instant news. If you want to find out what's going on in the traffic, you go to Twitter. That's the real time. It's like having an AP, Associated Press, just constant scroll going. And then Instagram is your interaction from personal and business. But it's all photo and hashtag driven. And you need to have photos for every single post, and hashtags are what people are using to connect. So let's dive in deep to LinkedIn and what it can do for you. Profiles are the core attraction of LinkedIn. We have a small profile on Facebook, but we have a well-written profile on LinkedIn. You'll get better connected with your ideal clients. You'll receive more requests from people who are looking to connect to you to sell their products and services. So what you want to do is also have that same relationship of selling your product and services, but you want to be able to reach those people together. Okay, so there's a dynamic that ties in together. So we're going to start with accessing your profile and how to design a profile that's going to attract people that they're going to want to find you. Mine is a professional profile. I do not endorse having a separate profile, because if you have one profile that is completely corporate and one profile that is just direct sales, unfortunately, what you're going to do is separate yourself from the professional networking people that you want to connect with. These people are the ones who actually want to do business with you, and they're going to look at you from professionally down to personally. It's a really wide range of people because you want to connect with those corporate leaders. You want to connect with people who have boutiques and buying gifts and actually building your own team even. So you want to be able to have that professional profile. So as I go through mine, you notice I have mine. Well, you access it first. You go up to your little picture that's at the top. You go down to view profile, and that'll take you to your profile page. Okay, so I want people to know that I'm a business owner. I want people to know that you're a business owner. That should always be your number one thing that you have out there as describing yourself, of who you are. You're a business owner. You do not have to say home business. You do not have to say anything but business owner, because that shows that you have initiative, you have drive, and that's who people like to connect with, are business owners. Okay. Um, I have other descriptions of what I do. I'm an author, I'm a business coach, I'm a content creator, I'm connecting foundations for entrepreneurs. So I'm a connector. So that's one of the things that I have. Right now, I have an ad going that I'm hiring direct sales representatives. I've had a couple of people reach out to me. They are interested in finding out more about Mia Bellas. I've never given the name, but all I've done is I'll show you what I've done. You click on the pencil is anywhere you want to go. Oh, let me see. How do I get in here? I do this. Okay. There it is. I click on that blue link and I just put down that I'm actively seeking direct sales representatives for a US make handle company. Commission-based. I tell them about the monthly auto ship because LinkedIn requires me to disclose anything that's out there. If I do not disclose it, I promise you they're going to delete it. Okay, so you could see this. No experience necessary. It only allows me to list one for US or Canada. It will not allow me to list both. If you have a moment and you want to take a screenshot of this, I am more than happy of you taking that screenshot and sharing it on your page. You can recreate anything that I have out here. I am more than happy with you just taking it and using it. There's no problem with that. I'm a total believer in sharing, not stealing. So it's open disclosure. So if you snapped your picture, but this just opens up that you're letting people know and that you're hiring in your business. So it's a good way to connect. All right, so let me go back to the profile. All right. I provide different services, so you're going to see other things. Okay, you want to have a really strong profile. I don't fill in too much about Bradford Business School only because I didn't finish. I had like 3 weeks left and I quit. So I just don't really pay attention to that. But that's just something that LinkedIn's always going to say, add more, add more, add more. All right. So about me, I talk about who I am. You want to have a strong profile setting. We do not have this ability to do it in Facebook, but we do have the ability of setting up that strong profile within LinkedIn. So what you want to do is describe who you are, what you do, how you do things. It's the who, what, and hows. It doesn't matter where, because we can do business nationwide. But when we are doing this, we are talking about who we are. So people get to know us. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for people that have a strong profile, not a weak profile, because that weak profile doesn't show your strength in what you do. I have my direct sales leader, trainer, top producer with my experience. I also put in there what I've accomplished recently. I do have a strong background, but I don't have all of that in here just because I look for the future. I don't want to look completely at the past. All right. It's always good to have a logo in there if you can. So I have my coaching and mentoring logo in there. And then I have activity and followers. They get to see this. I do have my experience. So you want to make sure you have experience in there so they can see that you're doing things. I do have my Gold Canyon experience in here, and it showed what I did. And I keep going. Any licenses, certifications, these are where a lot of your connections are going to be. Volunteers experience, they look for volunteers because they want to know who you're volunteering it with. They want to know if you're willing to do events. So they're going to look at different things when people are going through. So it's just a matter of you're building a resume through LinkedIn online. Okay. So how do you find people that you want to connect with? When you are, well, first, let's talk a little bit about the photographs. It's definitely different from when you are posting a photograph on Facebook. On LinkedIn, it's more of information. What are you giving to other people? Let me go to some of my saved items here. Okay, so I look at Adam. Adam is a tax accountant who started his own business. He guarantees to find any business 10K in 45 minutes. Okay, that's one of the things that he does. When I look for his post, I can go in and let me look for one of his posts. Oh, let's see. I might have one of his posts already saved. Okay, here. He puts 3 easy steps to create a budget. So you could do 3 easy steps on where to put candles in your house or how to decorate. Okay, you're sharing that information. You could be sharing about fundraising. You want to have something that is going to attract the attention of people, that they're going to respond with. Okay, Barbara, I like her posting. Her posting is every single day. She has a pretty good, way of posting her information here. Sometimes it's not always easy to get to the activity area. Let me find it here. Okay. I'll have to think about that for a minute because I was just there and anyway, I'll come back to that. Okay, but Barbara puts pictures in all of her posts. And when Barbara puts pictures in all of her posts, you can see that they all follow the same lines. Like right here, there's one. Okay. She has where every moment is a fresh beginning. She'll do a lot of quotes and she gets a lot of reactions to it because she's been doing it. Hashtags, you keep your hashtags to no more than 5 hashtags on LinkedIn. Okay. All right. Again, she has a strong profile that you can go into. She doesn't do so much about the about on it because her about is a little bit smaller than mine, but she is a brain coach. So with what she does is more corporate side. All right. But let's get into where the networking is. This is where you really find people. So that's more of what I really teach people is on the networking part. So you go up to My Network. Okay, so this is where you start. Go to My Networks, and then you go to Connections. All right. So when you're in your connections, you're going to see different people that you have connected with. All right. Faye Pittman's on here. Faye is one of our distributors. All right. But I want to search with filters. So I'm going to go to the filters, search with filters. And then I'm going to select all filters. But first I'm going to reset. I want to search with all filters because this is where you're going to find people to connect with. So how many of you have gone to a college and you're looking to reconnect with people that you went to college with? You may not find them in your first connection, so you're going to leave that alone. Okay, I've got to move a window here. All right, so if I want to say I want to connect with people that I've gone to school with that are local, I'm going to look for, say, Mary Washington University, which is one of the local colleges here. My window is blocking here. Let me move it. Okay. So Mary Washington University. Oh, does help if I type in Washington. University of Mary Washington. Okay. So if I want to find people that I went to school with at University of Mary Washington, I would click on there, click show results. And this would show people that are in my area or not in my area that have gone there. Some of them are second connections. Most of them will be second connections because I didn't go there. But those second connections, they are some of my I have some first connections that know them as well. So Lynn Richardson, for example, she's one of my first connections, and there's 10 other shared connections that I have. I could go to Lynn and I could say, hey, Lynn, I see that you know Rebecca Purdy. Can you connect me with her? She's the deputy director. I don't know if who's in charge of buying gifts, corporate gifts for whether it's employees or whether they have any events there, but I want to be connected within the college. Can you help me with that? Because Lynn's a first connection of mine. Lynn's going to tell me yes or no. It depends on how good the friendship is. I personally know Lynn. I've known Lynn for many years, so she would know who to connect me with within the college. So she's a good contact to have on there. Okay, Melinda Fields. I know Melinda Fields as well. Okay, so she knows the president and chief executive officer, but he's really not a good connection for me because he's not going to be the one that's going to come back to me and say, hey, we're going to buy corporate gifts for these people. Okay, so I look at that title that they have before I connect. Now, if I look at Jeremy Vaughn, Jeremy Vaughn's in charge of higher education, fundraising. So I can look at some fundraising opportunities with him. I mean, even though it's on that corporate level, there are fundraising opportunities that they may have with different sports events. He would be able to connect me in with those different people. So that's just one way of finding some of your connections. Now, if I go back here again and I reset again, I look at my all filters again, I want to meet people specifically in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Okay, you do have to type out the city, the state, otherwise it does not recognize it. And I am going to look for some retailers. So I would type in retail. Okay. Show results. So, okay, here's a store owner, Linda Hara. She owns Crown Trophy. Okay, Crown Trophy may or may not be a good place for me to connect with, to be able to go in and place my candles in there. But she would know a whole bunch of different people in her audience and her target audience who are business owners because of what she does. Okay, she has mutual connections of mine. I know Joni runs a nonprofit. I know Rita works with mental health. I'm not sure who the other 16s, but we can look at that. I know Jarvis, he's a pastor. He's a friend of mine on the John Maxwell team. We've done events together. I know Gwen, all these different people. Gwen works with ServPro, which is a local company. They have clients that they meet with all the time to help restore homes after fires, after water damage. There's just a lot of different things. She would be a good contact. Jarvis would be a good contact. Frank is a local realtor. Sabine, I used to do Toastmasters with, and also Toastmasters, and she's also a John Maxwell coach. Lynn owns the STA title and escrow company. So she does a lot of closings. Asha, I've known Asha for years. She does photography. Yolanda used to work at Gold's Gym. So all these people that I know are good people for me to reconnect with because they are doing gifts with their clients. So, and I can keep going down. I know everybody on this list except for Deborah Elaine. So we know who we can connect with, but we don't really think about what people are doing. So to do this, you can message each one of them and let them know, hey, I am now selling candles, or I'm with Mia Bella. I'm looking to reconnect with some people that you may know. Can you introduce me? Or if they have that retail business that you can get into the retail business, such as Crown Trophy. If I go back here to Crown Trophy, Linda has Crown Trophy. She owns the store. There is a possibility that she may be willing to set up a display in there. So this just opens up a lot of doors for you to be able to go in and find people to be attracted to with ideal clients. All right. So you have that professional, you want to make sure that you have a professional profile photo. Linda has her Crown Trophy photo. Now, is this a good photo? No, it's not, because it cut off part of her logo. She's better off having a personal picture in here, but not her logo, because it's not who she represents. So I personally, I mean, that would be a turnoff for a lot of people. Just because I know who she is, I would definitely talk to her. She is my second connection. but I know that I could walk into her store and I can ask her for references. She's been at a place that I've worked at in a local location. So I know her personally. I could walk in and say, hey, I own this business when I was here. We haven't talked to each other in 2 or 3 years. What do you think? All right. She talks about her graphic design, her relationships. So again, it's connecting with the people that you know. So, and the same thing when you go back to my network, go back to your connections, search with your filters. This would be where you would find people that you really want to connect with. All these people are in my first. Okay, I have over 2,000 connections. Do I know all of them? No, but I do want to narrow down on who I'm going to be able to work with. So if I go back to my locations again, I don't want to click on my first connections. Let me see. Health, wellness, and no. Yeah, let's look for health, wellness, and fitness. Now, actually, let's go to real estate. Okay. So if I want to look in the real estate industry to see who the local realtors are, and this is somebody we could talk to for our custom labels. Okay. I can see all of these people that are local in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is local to me, and I can talk to them about custom labels. I've just opened up the door. Some of these are, most of these are second connections that I'm seeing. I'm sure I have some first connections in there. Well, I know I do, and other ones. But these second connections, I can connect with people that they know. All right. Let me jump ahead of my notes. All right, so you always want to ask yourself questions when you are looking at your connections. You want to know who they know. You want to know where did you meet them at, or where did they meet them at. You want to know if you would trust their referrals, and you would want to know how you can refer them and how you can best serve them. If you can serve them with custom labels, if you can serve them with gifts, if you can serve them with a shelf in their shop, there are so many different things that you can do. So ask yourself those questions, because if you are working with a real estate agent, but they really are not selling houses right now, that they're just listed as a real estate agent, but they're doing it as being a stay-at-home mom instead at this time, they're not necessarily that best connection for you, especially if they're not interested in doing anything outside of raising their child. But if they are in business selling that house, and they are actively in their business, they're setting up their budget, their marketing budgets for 2022 right now, their gift budgets for 2022. I can't tell you how many I've talked to in the past month that each one of them has said, I'm working on my marketing budget for 2022 and my gift budget for 2022 to see if this is something that'll fit into my budget. So you have to sometimes share with them why it will fit into their budget, because that $20 candle, and they're doing buy 12, get one free. If they're not doing a customized label, or if they're doing a customized label, you've opened up a whole new window for them for their business, because they're out there buying $20 to $50 gifts for their clients alone. So you could do a gift basket for them. You could do a candle with ribbon tied around it with a little key on it that says, welcome to your new home. That's how they present that key to their new home. I have a friend who, she actually gives out a key ring with their real estate agent name on it. And then she does wind chimes or candy. And I said to her, why are you doing wind chimes or candy when I can do a candle with your picture on it? And she says, that's what I'm going to do for 2022. I'm like, okay, great. Had I not had that conversation with her, she still would have done key rings and candy or a wind chime. So how did I find her? Back through LinkedIn. I went through my LinkedIn connections and said, oh my gosh, she's in real estate now. I had no idea she was in real estate. So I'm learning who's changing those jobs and who's doing different things out there. So some of the ways that you can build your list. Okay, you can do former coworkers, you can do professional occupations, you can do white and blue collar professionals, neighbors, military spouses and organizations, alumni, and nonprofits. Now, we're going to talk about nonprofits for just a minute. We're going to jump in here. We're going to go to those all filters again. Let's go back to, I'm going to do add location. We're going to do, Jody, where do you live at?
I'm in Peoria, Arizona.
PE.
Peoria. Sorry, my husband has the football game on, so.
That's okay. Okay, so let's go to Peoria, Arizona. And let's go down to nonprofit board and pro bono consulting and volunteering. Okay. The reason we want to do this is because this is going to show Jody who in her area is involved in nonprofits, who's on boards, that they're interested in joining a board. So she gets to see all these people that are locally in her area. It's a pretty good list here, isn't it, Jody? Some untapped markets.
I like it. I like it. I'll definitely be perusing. I love it.
So another place that you can go to, let's reset. Always do your reset if you want to just look for companies. So we drop down to companies. All right. Location. You want to do North America or United States. All right. Industry. Let's go with financial services. Do you know that financial services, most of them are independently owned? They may be under the umbrella of a corporate name, but they're actually running their own business. And they're always looking for some type of affordable gift to give referrals. I will tell you, financial services are not allowed to say, thank you for your referral. You can say, thank you for being a client. We appreciate you. So customized label or a regular label. I just did a customized label for a financial advisor saying, thank you for, no, you are appreciated as a client, I think is what it said. I had her picture on it. Jody's really good at making up the labels. I could show you the label, but I'd have to find it on my Canva. But anyway, you can go into those financial services. You can see some of these big ones. So if you want to market some Wells Fargo, for example, you can see Wells Fargo. Okay, I'm looking for 195 recent senior management hires. That's some insights. So there's some new people that have come into Wells Fargo. So if you go into there, okay, one of the newest changes, they're not allowing you to click on that link anymore. Okay, people. So let's go look for, you can see where they live. 33,000 of them live in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's a lot of people. These are the people that are working. No, sorry. This is something they have changed recently. Okay, so they're showing who is working at Wells Fargo. So what you want to do is find the person who would be in charge of events. Okay, I'm not seeing that person. So I know that this is going to be a harder one to find because that event person, okay, customer experience strategy. So you got your CES. That might be a good person to connect with. But you can look through and see who you want to connect with on here. Okay. Let me go into Edward Jones because I know Edward Jones might be a little bit easier because I know more about Edward Jones. Okay, so let me find Edward Jones. Edward Jones is one of the companies out there that they are individually owned. Okay. So I can go into people. And I can look in the Washington, DC area. I can specify that area. And I can see, like Ben Maxwell, he's a big person in Edward Jones. He is one of the, it's called a level 10. He's a regional leader. So I know that I could contact his office and talk to his BOA, his admin in that office, and say, hey, Bridget, I know Ben's going to do pies for Thanksgiving. Has he thought about doing candles for client appreciation gifts instead of doing pies? And she may say, hey, that sounds like a great idea because everybody else is doing pies too. We've been doing pies for the past 10 years. So it's an opportunity to open up and talk to different people and actually get them to redirect and start thinking of a way to do another gift for them. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can do it. The same with Mary Long. Mary Long is a local girl. She's been doing Edward Jones for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years. I know that she has done Christmas gifts in the past for all of her clients, plus she does calendars. I'd rather she give a candle than give a calendar or a Christmas gift, a Christmas ornament. So there's always a way you can talk to different people, find these small, because they're all independent. So they're small independent businesses. And when you're talking to them, they're responsible for buying their own gifts. They don't come from a corporate level. And a lot of people think that comes from the corporate level. Oh, Edward Jones is such a big company. They're supplying all the gifts. They have a lot of money. That's not the case. They are a small business owner, umbrellaed under a big business. The same goes with your 7-Elevens, your Sheets, and all these other different stores. They're corporate, but they're umbrellaed with their own independent people. So don't necessarily wipe out some of those bigger companies just because you think that they're a corporate level. They're never going to talk to you. A lot of them are looking for ways to be able to supply gifts to other people. All right, so let's see. So how do you talk to them? How do you prospect to them? One, you want to be able to contact local boutiques. You can talk to travel agents, real estate agents, schools, any professionals that have high numbers of events. Okay, so you market them. You start posting small. It's always good. Whoops, that was not what I was supposed to click on. Let me get back here. Okay, so I want to go into my homepage. We're not going to talk about, we're not going to have pictures of which do you like better, the engagement post. Do you want a pie or do you want mulled cider? I'm just throwing those out there. Okay, so we're going to talk about some different ways to post on LinkedIn. When you're posting on LinkedIn, you're going to give your tips. You're going to give them decorating tips. You're going to give them helpful hints. You're going to give them foods. That maybe they want a combination of foods with their candles. Recipes are always good because people are always looking for recipes on LinkedIn. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think that, but they do because it's the professional going in. What can I make for dinner tonight? What can I buy for a quick gift? If you have your candle store in your house, where can I stop to pick up a quick gift on the way home? Do you have somebody's birthday that you're looking for on the way home this evening? So, you can target your audience. You can talk about flowers, the different fragrances that we have that match up flowers. You want to get engagement posts, and those engagement posts, like you'll see this one on my screen, managers versus leaders. And a lot of times it's an article that they'll have out there, and he'll have that you check on the link, and it could be a blog post. If you're doing blogging for your business, you want to actually put your blog on your post, and that way it redirects people back. You do want to join some different groups. One of the best hashtags to always put out there is attach COVID or Corona. Usually Corona is better than COVID for attaching a hashtag. Because you want to market to people, because a lot of these people are looking for jobs, looking for job changes, or looking for ideas. They're in and out. The average person spends 12 minutes a day on LinkedIn, whereas the average person on Facebook spends hours on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So there's a vast difference. They're in and out. They're scrolling maybe the first 10 to 15 posts. That's it. They may be looking for a group that they're involved in. So they want to connect with you, and they want to talk about your business partnerships. They want to see video testimonials from you. They want personal photos of you being human. There's a lot of polls going on right now on LinkedIn. Website quotes. There are some website quotes out there, but I won't say that there's a whole lot of them because they're not interested in seeing the same platform as a Facebook post. They're going to scroll right on by you if they're seeing a Facebook type post versus actually lingering over top and seeing what you have for value to offer. So one of the things that you can do, Kim, are we okay on time?
Yeah, so far we're good. And hey, one question before you go. Are you on the premium for LinkedIn, or is this everything that people could do for free?
Oh, absolutely free. I do not pay for anything on LinkedIn. So
That was a question from Monica. She was wondering if there were any limit on the connections that you
No.
can make.
no, there's
Perfect.
not. Okay. No, I do not pay for anything on LinkedIn at all. And I'm not in LinkedIn every single day, but I do get messages almost every single day. And some of them I ignore because they're sales messages. When you have InMail with LinkedIn, you pay for that service. I don't recommend it because there's absolutely no reason for you to pay for a service that you can get for free, because the only other benefit is you're sort of blocking out some of the other people that would not necessarily bother you because they don't want to pay for that in-mail service. Okay. Do we have any other questions before I go on?
I don't see any in the chat, but
Okay.
we'll leave some time at the end too if they have questions.
Okay, great. All right. So one of the things that you can do is create a LinkedIn calendar. When you create a LinkedIn calendar, you spend some time, make sure that you do it for at least a week at a time, because you cannot schedule on LinkedIn just like you can on Facebook. That is one of the disadvantages of LinkedIn, because they do not want it to be a Facebook driven platform. Now you can use some of the other services that are out there. I want to say Content Planner is one of them, or Content Creator is one of them that you can post, but you lose your visibility because LinkedIn definitely wants that real time out there versus scheduled time. They want you on there. So they don't want you scheduling because they're going to hide you if you're scheduling. So some people will use that scheduling service. I don't recommend it if you want to stay visible in front of people. Create your graphics and create your content that make it completely driven for your clients, the clients that you want to target. When you are creating those graphics and those contents and putting local events on there as well, you are actually staying in the forefront of them because they're looking for good content. They're looking for information. A lot of people are looking to be hired even. They're help wanted. Some of them are looking for jobs. Two of them that I connected with today. One of them I'm meeting on a Zoom tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to talk about him joining Mia Bella. And he has no idea that it's Mia Bella that I'm talking about. All he knows that it's a candle company. That's all I've said to him, because I don't want to spill the beans that he's going in and doing all this research and then he just doesn't show up when we're scheduled for that time. So, and if you have a Google Drive or you have a daily engagement folder, put it in that. And that way, keep it that you're in there. And when you're in there, you can pull things out and you can engage people and have conversations with them. Again, remember, they're only on there for about 12 minutes a day. They're not on there much more, and they're not checking it more than twice a day. If that, some people only check their LinkedIn accounts once a week because they do get so much in messaging. Now, I did put out one time, once or twice actually, that, and I put this in a post that if you're going to spam me, don't bother. And my spam and my messages cut down to almost 1 or 2 a week that I get because I wasn't responding to them. I do get one. I just had one today and I'll show it to you. Okay, this is Randy. He's asked me, would you like a copy? I'll shoot you the best email. No hard feelings either way. I'm ignoring that because he is just soliciting for business for himself. It's all about connection building. When you are connecting, you're going to connect through email, but you're going to connect with that person, not just to sell them something. That is not how you want to make that connection at all. And I have several other of them. I mean, I could just go through. I get a lot of things. I get a lot of coaching ideas. I mean, this guy here, I know him personally. He nagged the heck out of me. I don't respond back to him just because he's a nag and I know that he's a nag. All right. So when you build your prospecting and your client referral system on LinkedIn, you want to contribute to groups that you want to connect with, including event planners, because event planners are always looking for centerpieces. LinkedIn is for connecting with people. It's not about finding friends. It is totally a business referral relationship, and it goes through the third degree connections. And if you see someone who has a need for someone you can connect them with a warm introduction. So that is always one of the things that you can do, the warm introduction. And I will show you one other thing before we close out. But under companies, you can search by a company size, an industry location, and a connection level. That's generally the most popular market to start with when you're building a network. And post, you want to connect with people who are active on LinkedIn. So you're asking them the questions. So follow the locations that you have used or would like to build a relationship. So if you want to build relationships in the town that you live in, then do searches that way. Look for local people that are working at local boutiques. Like we have one that's called the Rusty Willow. Sonia is actually one of my distributors on my team. And I connected with her and I found her on LinkedIn originally. And then I went out to her boutique and I met with her. And I shopped at her boutique a couple of times before I finally got to meet her as the owner. I met her employees, but I went there enough times that eventually I was able to say, hey, I shop here. I've been here. I love this outfit. And then we connected and she ended up joining Mia Bella recently. Now she is not as active as she can be because she recently had a death in her family, but we've already designed labels. She's on vacation right now. When she gets back, we'll reconnect and be able to get her labels going with her candles. She's selected 5 candles to be in her boutique and she already has another line in here with her label on it, but she wants to add this in. Schools. Try to connect with people that are in schools. Because those are where you're going to find your fundraisers, a lot of your fundraisers. Dance studios, sports teams, schools are a big one. And we'll go through and I'll show you how to find the schools. Military. A lot of the military have balls and they're high-end balls. And those event planners that are working for the military are always looking for centerpieces. They're looking for gifts. They're always looking for they need to have something to be able to give out. Create some baskets, show your baskets as photographs on your page. Okay, the groups, you always want to connect in different groups, professional groups. Those are always important. So always remember to use the talents that you possess in your business. If your strength is in fundraising in schools, brand that in your post. Use photos and show the results of what you have personally done. Like Yolanda had done the fundraiser with over 600 candles. That picture of her having those candles, they showed the palette and then the fundraising brochure. That was excellent when it was posted on Facebook. That's something that can be shared on LinkedIn because people need to see that there's fundraising out there and Mia Bella does fundraising and people are raising money because these nonprofits in particular, or these organizations, these sports teams, these schools, parents are tapped out. So we can post it on Facebook all that we want, but now we're hitting that market where that PTO mom is actually, she's a professional working maybe a full-time job or a part-time job. So she has other connections. And when you can connect that way, it's really great to do. Okay, so use language within the website to connect the LinkedIn post in your profile building and capitalize on the PR that's built into the website. So do some mirroring in your profile and on your posting. And when I say do that mirroring, make sure that what your message is sending is consistent with what you're posting out there of who you really are. If you don't have anything about Mia Bella's on your profile page, they're not going to catch that when you're posting. They're going to go back and look and say, well, all I'm seeing is coaching stuff. I'm not seeing anything for Mia Bella's, which on my page, I don't have Mia Bella's because I started in March, the end of March, and I had not updated my profile, but I have out there that I'm a direct sales trainer. So with that, eventually I will put the Mia Bella's in there because I have Gold Canyon, but I want to build the relationship because people know me as the coach out there. So, but make sure you have your message because I am pulling things from Mia Bella as well. Okay, create clean graphics. That is one of the most important things. I mean, if you look at this graphic right here, this is a clean graphic. It has your white background. It highlights the United States, residency not required. It has that little dot there. It's just simple and clean. We are hiring. Look at this one, Trinity Senior Village. Look at that white background. There, it's not flashy photos. It's not, I mean, there are some that have photos out there, don't get me wrong, but it's clean. They're looking for things that they can see that's very clean. Here, this is all personal pictures. Dr. Wood, she's had some personal events out there. It's personal pictures. She's a human showing what she does. National Chocolate Milk Day. Well, we can have a National Coffee Day. But see how simple that photograph is? It's not just filled with a lot of words, a lot of information. It's people don't want it, they don't linger very long. Meet the team. You can even announce your new team members on here like we do in our Bella Builders and on our team pages. You can do meet your team here and have some information, but again, very clean. It's a photograph. It's not just like I had the one with the leaves out there, welcome to Mia Bella's. That's not a LinkedIn photograph at all. That is not a LinkedIn graphic. You need something that's going to be very clean. Okay. This one shows that 90-year-old artist. Again, it's a clean. Now this one is a little bit personal, but it talks about the tragedy. I did see another one earlier that had a lot of information, and it was just a little girl, and her hashtag is "This is me" as she told her story. But again, it goes back to being clean. And it's always okay to do videos on LinkedIn as well. Do those testimonials, do the LinkedIn videos, and get yourself out there. It's not just a platform that's photographically driven or graphically driven. Again, that clean photos. Okay, do not use any photos from Google, Bing, Yahoo. Most of them have copyright requirements and they could be owned for companies. And a lot of times they're searching for violations and they can find you. How do I know this? I have a website designer who was fined, one of her clients was fined $1,000 for her having a photograph on her website that was sold. It was originally a royalty-free on Google. The company bought that particular photograph and they came back and he received a letter saying, hey, you're in violation. This is a copyrighted photograph. Shutterstock owns it. And so he forwarded the letter. He was a 76-year-old man. He forwarded the letter to the website designer, who her husband actually created the website at least 15 years ago because he passed away about 9 years ago. Well, she called the company and tried to negotiate with him. They said, absolutely not. You are responsible. She paid the $1,000 and that was it. The website was shown on Facebook. Don't use graphics from Google or any of them because they are actively searching for people who are in violation of that copyright. If you are using a photograph, a graphic from any of those platforms, make sure that you put that copyright information on there. I create my own graphics. Canva has a free account that you can go into. So does PicMonkey. use those for your free online graphic builder, because you can use those to produce professional photographs, professional graphics. Okay, so with that, do we have any questions?
Were you going to show them how to search schools?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, so let me close the screen here. All right, so go into my network. Go into your connections. All right, search with filters. Let me reset. Go into schools. I think Spotsylvania County schools. Oops. Won't find it with a typo. Let me see if I can get Orange County schools. That might be better. Okay, Orange County Schools, Virginia. I go into all filters. By people. Orange County. Let me try this way. All right. Okay. So I did everybody, I'm hoping everybody had seen that how I did that. Okay. So Renee Haneker, she is actually the principal of one of our secondary schools. Kim is one of the counselors. So I could make a phone call to any one of them, because I personally know Renee. She was actually my daughter's principal, but I could call the school and I could ask her who her PTA president is. Most of them will have who the principal is. They do not list who their PTO presidents are, but if you could find a familiar name within your school district, you will be able to go in and ask them, hey, I'm looking for the PTO president. Can you give that to me? Most of them will do that, and you can connect with them yourself. So like in my area, we have one high school in my own entire county. So it's hard for me to get into the high school itself because the high schools don't have a PTO president generally, but they do have different clubs. So I know I can call Sherry at the school because I personally do know Sherry. And I can say, hey, do you know who's running the JROTC program this year? Or I know that Debbie Dickerson, she is at one of our local schools. I can call her and say, hey, who's the PTO president? She's one of the teachers. And I can even connect with her. Oops. I could connect with her at the school as well and send her a message saying, hey, I see that you're a school teacher at the school and I'm looking to get the PTO president name. I'd like to connect with them. And generally, they're pretty receptive on LinkedIn as given the name for the PTO president. The high schools, it's more of the clubs, the organizations within the school, your sports team. You need to usually talk to the coach, or you need to talk to like the JROTC, it's whoever is running that program. I've done a few fundraisers at our high school many, many years ago, but it was really tough to do. I mean, my daughter actually went in and said, hey, my mom can do a fundraiser and she'll donate all of her profits so we can do this fundraiser. So that's how I got into our high school. Otherwise, I would have never been able to get into the high school because they just don't do it. But the elementary school and the primary school and our middle school, I was able to connect in through the teachers, and I actually found some of my connections on LinkedIn. I have no children in the school system anymore, so it's harder for me to find those connections, but being able to go into LinkedIn, I can see who actually works there. I can do the same thing in, like, we have Spotsylvania County schools, Stafford County schools. I can look at the different schools in the area and see who's there. The same with the college. Let me pull up Germanna College. We have our local college. And so I want to look for, I know Germanna showed up before. Schools. We go to Germanna. Under networking, connections, sorry. Okay. Back to search with filters. The filters are always a good thing because filters are where it really allows you to really narrow things down. Okay. So if I can do my first connections. Okay, Germanna Community College.
And Elena, Christina was asking, you mentioned first connection and second connections. What, she wants to understand more, what does that mean?
Okay, first connections are the ones that you're actually connected to on LinkedIn. Okay, you've already established that relationship. It's basically that friend request. Second connection is somebody that they know. Okay, so here, Bill is in a first connection with me. Actually, let me get Regina. Okay, Regina's a first connection with me. She's somebody that I already know. She's retired law enforcement. Actually, Jody and I have a mutual connection here. She used to be one of my customers. So I can look back, her education was Stafford High School. That second connection though, so I'll go into my second connections here. And I'll show you the second connection. Filters. My second connection would be, here's my local connections that I would know with them, that I'm already connected with them, that we know. Heather Hiller, Gary Henson's one of my connections, Fabian Fredrickson. I have 18 other shared connections. That would be my first connections with her, with Heather. So it's a great way to ask them to introduce me. So if I wanted to meet, I see that LaTanya Davis is seeking a board role. If I wanted to meet her, I could follow her. She's a second connection. I don't have any first connections with her. Let me see. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, Mary Dombrowski. I know Mary personally. She used to be one of my Kindle customers. If I wanted to connect with Denise, I can message Mary and say, hey, I'd like to meet Denise Harrington. Can you introduce me? And because Mary is one of my first connections. Fabian Fredrickson, she is a international speaker. I have met her one time, but she would have no clue who I was meeting her because I met her at an event and I didn't sign up for her program, but I am connected with her. So I have to look at the level of connection. And there are some people that you have no idea who you're connecting with. I have a lot of John Maxwell coaches that have connected with me over the years, and I really don't know who a lot of them are. I go through and I look and see what their postings are and say, okay, could I connect with them in another way, whether it's in their business Could it be as a coach through Youth Max, whatever we're working on together, or maybe a program that they're doing? So I can look at them in a different way for connecting with them. Does that
Well,
make
I
sense?
would think you'd have a lot better way of doing that too, because if you just kind of cold message somebody, they may not ever respond to you, like you mentioned before. But if you have that person introduce you, you got a lot better chance of them responding to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I wanted to meet somebody at, let me see, if I wanted to meet somebody at Stafford Schools, for example. Let me go in to my second and third connections, people. All filters. Let me see if I could pull up Stafford Schools here. Stafford High School. There it is. Let me go for, let me try this one. Stafford High School. I don't know anybody that works at Stafford High School, but I know Chris Muldrow. He obviously knows, he would know this person. So I could ask for that introduction to this gentleman right here if I wanted it. I can also see what they're doing to see if it's somebody that I really want to be connected to. That would be the other thing. Like, here's a LinkedIn member. She does private. She's an honor roll senior, so she's obviously young. And that's unusual to see somebody that young on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Okay. So I could go in and I could see if somebody is in that connection. I obviously have no connections in my second or third to be able to introduce me to somebody at Stafford High School, except for maybe this Jenny Mullenchip, I mean. And she is not somebody that's showing, here's some other people, and I don't know any of these people. So for me, it would be a little bit awkward to be able to do that introduction. Now, I know this gal right here, this Kathleen McHenry, she has a business and she is a virtual assistant. So I know that I could connect possibly with her and say, hey, Kathy, do you have anybody that you know that works at Stafford Schools that you can connect me with?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, we're just over an hour, so if we want to, I'm going to look really quick at the chat to see if there are any more questions. Let's see. We had, well, just Susan's like, Wahoo, just posted my real estate label candle. Great idea. I know Casonia, I think she's going to send you a private, but others might have this question because you said this way in the beginning of why they should. She says, I have a professional resume on LinkedIn, but shouldn't I have a separate profile for my business? Why or why not? If you want to just explain that one more time.
sure. Okay. When you have a professional resume on LinkedIn, you should show your business with Mia Bella, because people want to connect with professionals on LinkedIn versus non-professionals. Even though we're professional, they want to know that there's somebody that they're talking to has some type of professional background, because what ends up happening is it's a professional networking connecting versus a Facebook where it's a friendship to friendship connection. So that professional, if you're going to represent yourself as a Mia Bella, they want to know that you have some type of background coming into them that is that you know how to speak in front of people, that you can connect with people. It's important because the farmer walking into a corporate environment to sell his product is going to have a very different language. That's the kindest way to put it. So that's why you do not want to have a separate profile for Mia Bella. You want to keep it combined together. So I have a background, and I don't even list my corporate background. I just recently left my corporate position, but my corporate position is not listed on LinkedIn because I have no desire to advertise that because I have always promoted myself as being self-employed. I don't want my corporate position listed on LinkedIn, but because I've been self-employed for so long, that's my biggest strength. So I can take that in and I can share my background. I have Toastmasters under my belt. I have actually, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. So I have 6 years of Toastmasters. They know with a distinguished Toastmasters, anybody that's familiar with the program, I've done at least 100 speeches. So I can come in and talk to any type of professional and be able to communicate. And my profile has to have that as well. If I come in there just with a Mia Bella profile, they're not going to understand how that leadership dynamic is all tied together and how you can speak to people, what your training has been, because they see direct sales. And a lot of people don't understand the team building, the bonding, the professional development that you have because you are self-employed. You are you have your own business. And again, you go back to having a business owner as always being your absolute first part of your profile description. That is the big tie-in. You're a business owner. And that shows your diversification and your professionalism. Because like I said, LinkedIn is only 12 minutes max that they're going to see anything about you and other people, because it's all going to be scrolling of 12 people, 12 minutes of time scrolling to see who they want to connect with that day.
Any other questions for Elena before we wrap it up tonight? I'm not seeing any in the chat unless I'm missing it here, but I don't see anything else. Just a lot, everyone saying thank you, Elena, for your information. It's been really great sharing.
Well, thank you for having me, Kim. I really appreciate it. LinkedIn changes about every month with different things. So sometimes it's easy to stay on top of it. Other times they change it just enough to make a little change. It makes it a little difficult. So if you're away from it for 6 months, you're going to miss some of the changes. If you are involved in it at least once a week, it'd be a little bit harder to see those changes because you'll just go with the flow of things, but they don't announce things. So, and it's nice. I like LinkedIn because I like to see who I can connect with. And then sometimes I'll go search for them on Facebook and see what they're like on Facebook too, to see if it's somebody I really want to connect with. So that's just another piece of it too. So keep that in mind.
Yep. Great tool. I mean, I learned a lot tonight, so I really appreciate it because I have not been using my account like I should be and could be. So thank you for the great training, and thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. And obviously this is recorded and we'll put this out for everybody to watch who wasn't able to join us. So have a great night, everybody.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.